Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to GameStar TV. It's the last round of the evening, the last match of ZOWIE GameStar Overwatch action. It is going to be huge. This is a critical game for one of the teams. We're bringing you the Cucks going up against Int64 Squids. Now, the Cucks are currently unbeaten in the qualifiers. They've made it through week 1 without dropping a round in the qualifiers, made it through week 2 without dropping a round. And Int64 is INT, or Int64 Squids. They must win this match to get themselves through the qualifiers and into the playoffs on Thursday. So they have to beat the unbeaten run in the qualifiers of the Cucks. It's going to be huge. While that's been happening, we've got to give ourselves a little bit of a pat on the back, ladies and gentlemen, here on GameStar TV 1. We've just cracked the 100,000 view mark. It's been a long time coming, and a lot of it has been thanks to a massive run towards the finish by you, the Overwatch viewers and players. So a big shout out to you. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for the views. I hope we are doing a good enough job to keep you coming back. Well, it's now up to the Cucks and Int64 Squid to give you the entertainment that you need, and taking you through it all is going to be BobbyJ and Allg. Take it away, BobbyJ.
Thank you very much, Chrisis, here with the Cucks and Int64 Squids. I'm going to let everyone know. Well, first of all, welcome back, Allg.
Thanks, mate. I'm really pumped for this last game. It's good. Been a great night so far.
I know you love Li Zheng Tower, mate.
I do. I am obsessed with this map. It's fantastic, dude. It's great stuff.
Winston main, and you love slapping people off. Give the old Rafael Nadal backhand off the tower.
Yep. I know you've tried to raid me in a few times, but there's no stopping the Winston trade, mate. No way.
I'll just let it go. There's no point taming an animal that's not going to be tamed. It's just wasting time.
Yeah, for sure.
And just a little bit of trivia here. We have on Int64 Squids, we have Excessives here on the Mercy. He is actually an old roommate of mine back when I decided to be at university and not do anything with it. And we have Excessives there, so he's there on the Mercy. So be sure to give him a hard time after the end of the game if he does bad. So
sure.
Make him feel it. And, alright, well, we've got here the last round, the Cucks to the Int64 Squids Allg, and we've got the Cucks 5-0 with Int64's record 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss.
Yeah, as Chrisis was saying, Cucks are undefeated at the moment in the qualifiers, so on paper, this should be a rout, but it's not easy. It's easier on paper than it is in reality, so we could be seeing some surprising stuff here, especially from Int64 Squids, so only time will tell, Bobby.
And teams are ready to get underway here as the Cucks are already on the point. Int64 have to now come in through the front entrance as Cucks are holding strong here, trying to keep them at bay as the point's about to unlock. And you can be sure to say that Int64 Squids will try and make their move now, but they've already got the point here, the Cucks.
Yeah, Cucks did a really good play there. They stood as a team and they didn't fight them out in the courtyard. They stayed together and snuck in and just got that really early hold here on the point, and it's done well for them. They're already at 12%. Really good play there by Cucks.
And here we go with the Lucio saying, let's go, and they've gone in here in 64 and they're fighting in the middle of the checkpoint. People are all split up, but the fire ult is already happening by TJK, and they clean up here, and everyone is down for Int64.
Yeah, absolute destruction there by TJK and OCA there. OCA just went nuts on that Genji there, getting the reset one after the other, got a couple of kills and managed to pick them off. So it's looking tough at the moment for Int64. They've got to get in there and get on this point and not let it get too far away from them. They've changed to the Winston now, so they're looking to get that more aggressive play on this backline, Bobby.
They were going for the side entrance, but Excessives gets picked up there on his Mercy. He's fallen, and they were going back and forth. I don't think they've made up their mind, but which entrance are going to go. But I think they might go over the side. Nope, they've decided to fall back here.
Yeah, TJK's movement on this far out is really good. He made, oh, he's actually been picked off there. Well, as I was saying that, he's getting rezzed up. But as I was saying, he's got really good movement. He's just keeping himself floating and just sort of dashing side to side to make sure he's a harder target to hit. And with failed Mercy damaging and boosting him up, he's doing a lot of damage on Int64 here. So it's going to be tough for him. 80% Bobby. I think they're going to need to just go for broke here and at least try and get all this point.
And they said turn it up with Lucio, and the ZOWIE ult comes in though as they try to get in there, but the Lucio sound barrier goes on top, but they still manage to pick up 3 people as Excessive, Showy, and Scout all fall down for Int64 Squids. And still everyone alive here for the Woodcocks, and they're going to manage to force them out.
Yeah, a really good hold there by Woodcocks. They just held on to their ultimates. They knew that they were in the better position. They knew that Int64 had to push in on them. And that Zara ulti basically denied all pressure that Int64 was going to. So 100-0 win side there. So big advantage here.
Yeah, clean sheet victory there for the Woodcocks, picking up the first point here, as all they need to do is win on checkpoint number C here.
Yeah, it's this point here in the middle of the control room is a little bit more difficult. It's a lot more enclosed than the outside area of the tower there. So we're going to see both these teams probably go straight into the control room here and get some brawling, but Winston and Reapers can be really effective here. So it'll be interesting to see if Int64 can bring this back to 1-1.
Everyone is racing towards the control point here. 22 seconds until it unlocks. Woodcocks have claimed the server room, as Int64 is still on the side room here, just near their spawn. Coming towards the control point. Interesting hold here from the Woodcocks, going straight to the server room.
Yeah, you see a lot of these teams rush into the server room and try to get a couple of early picks in that area and not get poked down, but at the moment, Woodcocks are just being too dominant and just pushing Int64 right off this point, and they've got that point for free.
And Winston goes in after the healers, trying to get onto Fresh here, but the shield is protecting him from the damage dealers from the Woodcocks. But he's fallen there as Excessive tries to get onto him, but half of his team are falling now. But Scope picks up a double kill though on his Reaper. Elim and Haste picking up their kills. The res comes in here from the Mercy from Int64 Squids. Everyone's back up besides Excessive. He dies for the cause, and they're gonna look like they're gonna get this checkpoint. I'm saying
Elim is doing well.
Elim is dashing around. He's trying to keep it there for his team. It's Rico's just down the outside as the bar comes back around. They're gonna go full circle. Well, TJK picks up a triple kill. Quadra kill.
That was disgusting. Yeah, that was disgusting, Robbie. He knew that they were all trying to get on the point and kill that kill the healer there, and he just came out and got a huge ult for free. So really good McCree ulti. We don't see a lot of McCree ultis after the nerf nowadays. It's a bit of a glimpse back into the past, Bobby.
There's the first high noon of the night. The clock has finally struck 12. It's been a long night. It's 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And we got Winston jumping onto the point. He's put his shield down already, but he's not even in his shield. He's trying to charge 40, falls down. He's outside his shield there as a limb gets in. He gets a oof to the face from Lucio, and he falls down. Rico picks up Chandra in the background there. Bale topping off everyone there. The mine goes down from Tracer, doesn't get anyone though. TJK picks up on the Tracer. Scout gets there. He gets flashbanged in the face from TJK. His Reaper ult is completely nullified. The res comes in though from Excessive from the red side, breaking it down. The Lucio over the sound barrier on the blue side for the Woodcocks there. Health bars are up and they're pushing back into 64 Squids.
Yeah, TJK just too good there, knowing he had to hold on to his flashbang there to stop the Reaper ult. And Woodcocks another 100-0, and this is why they're really a team to be reckoned with.
And we're done like that. That is the game already. 2-0 for the Woodcocks. Woodcocks, sorry. And I just Chrisis is now gonna.
Yeah, I took to this play of the game, Bobby.
Oh, is this Genji? This is right at the no, this is on the first, this is on tower here. He charges up. You know, he's just making mincemeat of everyone here. No one's even keeping watch of him. He's too fast. They're just dashing around one after the other.
Yeah, really good reset usage there by Woodcocks there to make sure that Genji could get those kills. So really dominant display there by Woodcocks. That's 6-0 for them this week. Same as last week. Really dominant.
Showing everyone why they deserve to be in the playoffs. Only just missing out last week, moving on to the semifinals with a close game with Jam Gaming. Those teams forming themselves a little bit of rivalry here as they go 2-0 over Int64 Squids. Good showing from them today, though.
Yeah, Int64 Squids, I mean, I think the scoreline was probably a little bit unfair for them. They played quite well, but to be honest, TJK just went huge game, both maps. When he was on Farah, he was really dominant, and on the McCree, he was extremely important as well. So, Int64 Squids, they played well tonight. I think they finished up with the only draw of the night, and they got a few wins as well. So, there's some good signs for them, and it'll be hopefully to see them back next week, and maybe they can push forward against that top four.
As we wrap up the ZOWIE GameStar Overwatch League, we've got Cucks advancing here 6-0. Before I throw it over to the brackets, we will do our Plantronics MVP for the match. So the nominee will be going to the draw for the Plantronics rig, 500 HD, 7.1 gaming headset. Who was your MVP, Allg?
For me, there's no surprise. It's going to be TJK. As I said before, he played a really, really good round on both rounds. He had a really strong Farah and a really, really strong McCree, which, as I said, we don't get to see too much more nowadays since the nerf. So making it still look strong. TJK for sure, my Plantronics MVP.
Congratulations, TJK, picking up the Plantronics MVP from none other than Allg, your analyst here at GameStar TV. And we're going to bring Chrisis in now to talk about the ZOWIE GameStar Overwatch playoffs on Thursday. How's it going, Chrisis?
Hey, pretty good. I loved that high noon that came through from TJK, and I also loved the salt that he didn't actually get the play of the game as a result of that. I guess when Overwatch does its calculation as to who gets it and who doesn't, it tends to favor those who don't need an aimbot to get all the kills, right?
For sure.
No, that was a phenomenal play, and the great thing was the style points that he earned afterwards as well. Did the little emote, and that was classic. We caught it on screen. So a good game to the Cucks throughout the night. Once again, as I pointed out, unbeaten throughout the series. And that's, well, they've got to feel as though this week is their week. 2 unbeaten runs through qualifiers. Got knocked out of the playoffs, unfortunately, in the quarterfinals. But they are absolutely on fire and improving from week to week. So no doubt we will see them fighting to get through the quarters and into the semifinals for the playoffs. So just bringing up the brackets on screen for you at the moment. We're still waiting for a little bit of the dust to settle for these final matches to get played. But it's simple enough for us to say the Cucks are definitely through. They are 6-0 once again. Avant-Garde, they're also definitely through. It's unlikely that anybody is going to catch up to them where they are. I'm just having a look. Have Quentium completed their
third
game?
and
No.
fourth?
So,
sorry, 4th and 5th are ready to playing off right now for the last spot.
Yeah, so Quentium, last week they snuck in at the death there. Nobody expected them to get through. We weren't talking about Quentium at all through the night, and all of a sudden in the last round they came through with the win that they needed that pushed them into the 4th spot. So we know our first 3, the Cucks, Avant-Garde, and Orbit.gg, are definitely going through. One of Quentium or Thanks will go through as well out of the result of their match. So the playoffs, we've got our first 7 teams ready to go. Just the one that we're waiting for. Biza, you've had not quite a night off tonight, but have had a little less to do. How's it been for you?
What, the night off? Or
Yeah.
just it's been all right. It hasn't been too bad. Maybe I get a little bit of withdrawal symptom and I just want to come back in and trying to assert my authority. Nah, it's good, man. I do a lot of work for Overwatch and you guys do a lot as well. So kudos to you guys stepping up every week, Monday, Thursday nights. It's great. I think we all need to rotate it around. So I'm having my night off and I'll be back in sharing the love with you guys very soon.
Fantastic. So still waiting on those results from Thanks versus Quentium. The one little issue that we had yet again with the bracket software was the draw situation. So I'm just a little confused as to why we have win, tie, and loss for the standings options, and yet there's no way of us entering a tied result. I don't know what that's about and how we're going to fix that. Anyway,
yeah, we're gonna have to. We'll have to look into that throughout the week. That's our problem, not the viewers.
Yeah,
for
sure.
They can sit at home and not worry.
So I did have an interesting meeting with a guy from Tournament. So you may recall our first Jamstar Overwatch Weekly was hosted using the Tournament software, but at that time there was no way for team captains to submit their results, so we had to move away from them onto Battlefy. But I caught up with one of their support dudes on Friday night last week, had a Skype meeting with them, and they said, yep, no problem. You'll be able to enter a 2-1 or a 2-0 or a 1-1 result, and this is how you do it. But they are doing a custom tournament setup for us to accommodate the fact that we have a Swiss bracket leading into a playoff round with 4 teams that auto-qualify through to the playoff round. So we're just waiting for them to complete that piece of development work for us, and when it gets released, we'll be switching over to tournament.com, but for now, we're going to be sticking with Battlefy. Now, we have a result, I think. I think Quentium and Thanks are entering their results, and it is a victory to Team Thanks.
Two things. I'm just waiting. I didn't refresh Chrisis.
Yeah, so just popped it
is-
open. Round 6, match 4, victory to Thanks. They pick up a 2-0 themselves. And what that means is that Team Thanks, at the end of this round, will move up ahead of Quentium in the brackets, and they will be the 4th qualifier.
Ooh, what about Dismay though? Is Dismay win? They're on 4-0-2 as well.
Yeah, they're seated lower, but
Okay.
so because of the seeding, they'll come in at 5th.
Well, it's
they
not
win.
it's not the
So they'll
seeding
miss
that
out.
does it. So if I scroll down here, you can see the tiebreakers are broken by the
Sorry, I mean tiebreaker.
yeah, the ties are broken by the average of the percentage of rounds your opponent won and the individual games you have won. So when we go to the results, you'll be able to see how those 2 percentages work out, and that'll break the ties. So the standings as they are right now are a pretty good indication of where one team is in comparison to another in the tied situation. So Dismay, they could still win. They've had a couple of good games tonight here on stream. We've covered 2 of them. So they might beat Sia on LAN, and then the tournament software's tiebreaker will come into play. But I think it will still be in favor of Quentium.
Yeah, because it's based on like what teams you beat, also depending on what rank there are. Yeah, when you beat them.
Exactly. So it's a complicated mathematical algorithm that I couldn't possibly hope to calculate myself. Let's do a couple of shout outs while we're waiting for that final result to come through for Game 5. Big shout out to Pulse from Jam Gaming, who's joined us in the Twitch chat, waving to us there. He can feel pretty good that we've come this far with the Overwatch weeklies. Pulse, I don't know if you were watching earlier when we announced that we cracked the 100,000 view mark and the 1,500 follow mark.
It's 101 views, 101k.
101K.
So we've got another 1,000. We've got another 1,000 views in tonight's games.
And we've cracked 1,500 followers as well, and a lot of that has to do with the Overwatch viewers that have come to us. And of course, it all started with the partnership between GameStar and Jam Gaming with the Jamstar Overwatch weeklies. Another shout out to I Am Cyberwaste as well, who correctly picked that the Woodcucks were on fire once again. And yes, let's have a look. Who else do we have? Shout out to Jesterizer. It says, hello, casters, my old friends. I guess he might have been saying that to himself.
Yeah, I was going to try and remember the lyrics, but I forgot them, so I couldn't type them back to him.
Yeah, he's an interesting boy. Just Rise is a good friend of ours, so good to see him in the chat.
There you go. Still waiting on that result, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want any shout-outs done, make sure you get them through. What I will do for you now is just call up the ZOWIE leaderboard as it stands at the moment. So this is just after week 1. And we have a couple, well, we've got one team that is unbeaten so far, Untitled Spreadsheets, followed by the Chiefs, the Cucks, Jam Gaming, and Tainted Minds are all on equal points. And you might be wondering how that could be when the Cucks were knocked out of the quarterfinals. So the way we've structured the point scoring for league points is that you only earn points if you play through the qualifiers. You get awarded 12 points if you automatically qualify through to the playoffs. So the 4 teams that got through to the playoffs don't play in the qualifiers, so they get the maximum points that they would have earned if they had an unbeaten run in the qualifiers. And that explains the 12 points. And then there are 3 bonus points available. 1 bonus point for winning a semi-final, so that goes to 2 teams, and then a single bonus point for winning the grand final. We don't want to have a situation where a team is, collecting a point per round or 2 points per round in the qualifiers, and just extending a massive lead over and a massive and insurmountable lead over the other team. So that's why we structured it that way. And that is why the Cucks, even though they got knocked out in the quarterfinals, are right there in the running with 12 points equal to Jam Gaming and Tainted Minds.
So, Chrisis, just on that point, I've got a result coming over from the last match, and it's CLAN have taken 2-0 result over Dismay. So, Dismay, no movement for them on that, and the top 4 is set.
All right, so we'll head on over there. The result has been put in, and so we can quite happily announce that the Cucks, Avant-Garde, Thanks, and Orbit.gg will be going through as the 4 qualifiers through to the playoffs. Whoop whoop.
We can we can actually bring up like who will be versing who in the quarterfinals as well. Yeah.
Theoretically, we could, but I can't remember exactly how what the seeding is for the top 4. I'm not sure if it's exactly the same as the last week. I will have to check. But
I know Untitled's number 1.
Well, of course. So Untitled will go up against Orbit.gg. The Chiefs will go up against Thanks, and then I think that Jam Gaming will probably go up against Avant-Garde, with the Cucks taking on Tainted Minds. If memory serves me correctly, because Tainted Minds are slipping a little bit in the power rankings, so that might affect things.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been an awesome night of Overwatch here at the qualifiers. 6 rounds of intense action from our how many teams we had? 14 teams, I think, tonight. So we're going to be wrapping things up and heading off to bed. It's almost 1 a.m. here in New Zealand. It's almost 11 p.m. In various places of Australia. Biza is just about sort of rubbing his eyes, waking up now. Getting some breakfast on or something out of WA.
It's not even 9 o'clock, mate. Jeez. What are you guys talking about?
Yeah. So if you'd like to hit that follow button, if you haven't already, make sure you do, and then come round to the playoffs. On Thursday, we'll be giving away another Overwatch t-shirt, and we actually let you choose whichever t-shirt you want. So Navoj has chosen a Hanzo t-shirt, so we're going to be sending that through to him as soon as his size becomes available. It's a medium. And so be on, enter into the raffle at the playoffs through Twitch chat. Make sure you're following us, and you could be in to win your own Overwatch t-shirt as well. Tomorrow night, coming up, we've got the Heroes of the Storm Ember Series. Week 5 registration is still open. You can throw together a group of your mates and make a play for the $50 cash prize courtesy of GameStar. And, of course, entries into the Plantronics MVP from those matches as well. Let's just run through our casters that we have here just to say last words and a good night. We'll turn to you first, BobbyJ.
Thank you very much, Chrisis. You can follow me on Twitter at @the_BobbyJ. Tweet me about anything you want. I'm usually on most days, and then I'm throwing it over to Allg.
Thanks, mate. You can catch me at GoMattFlack on Twitter. I check it fairly regularly, and I'll be happy to talk to some people there. But I'll see you guys Thursday night. I'm really excited to see how the Woodcucks go. They'll be hungry on Thursday, I reckon.
All right, so just a quick note. There's a question before we go away. There's a question from Daft AU asking us to explain how 3 to 4 works. So if you have a look, I'll just bring it up again so that you can see the standings as they are. But the software calculates tiebreakers as a result of how you've done in all of your rounds against your opponents effectively. So, well, actually what we've got here is Orbit GG and Thanks are on exactly the same score. So even the opponent's win percentage and the win percentage themselves is identical. So I'm not sure why it's popped them over that way. It's a random thing, so we'll have a discussion amongst the admins to decide whether that is a correct setting, and I think we'll probably turn to the power rankings that get released this week to be the decider there in this kind of situation. But fortunately, it's not a question as to whether they go through to the playoffs or not. It's just a question as to who faces Untitled Spreadsheets in the quarterfinal and who faces Chiefs instead. Both of those huge matches. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here on GameStar TV. Shout out to Blakey OCE as we tune out for the night. It's been great having you here. Make sure that you tune in later on in the week and follow us on Twitter at GameStar. This is Chrisis and all the boys, BobbyJ, Allg, Wolfie, our admin, and Bizer, who had a night off, but not really, signing out.